Hi dear students of class 8, you are welcome in this second session. Here in this session we will study about the transpiration, factors affecting transpiration, importance of transpiration, about the minerals and the functions of the minerals. Here transpiration is a process by which the aerial parts of the plant release water in the form of vapor. In this case, there are certain things that are necessary to understand and to know. About 95% of transpiration that occurs in a plant takes place by stomata. As you can see, the old bark of the trees, there some lenticels are present. There also some amount of transpiration is possible, but this is very less. The factors which are affecting the transpiration rate are like that. I am going to mention here. Humidity. I am making this symbol of directly proportion is directly proportional to, inversely proportional to transpiration. Humidity is the amount of moisture present in the atmosphere. If this amount will increase, rate of transpiration will decrease. Secondly, light is directly proportional to the transpiration. Light is having its very important role in the opening and the closing of the stomata. Therefore, if the intensity of light will vary, the rate of transpiration will vary also. That's why I made this directly proportional. Then temperature. This is also directly proportional to the transpiration. If we will increase the temperature, the rate of transpiration will also increase, and the speed of wind. That is also directly proportional to the transpiration. If the wind speed increase, rate of transpiration increase. This was all about the factors affecting the rate of transpiration. Now I am going to discuss about the importance of transpiration. First of all, you can see this cooling effect. In the summer season, when we are going outside, in direct sunlight, we are sweating. This sweating minimizing our body temperature, making it adaptable in that hot climate. In the same way, when this old water is getting evaporated from the plant, it is also having some cooling effect on the plant, and therefore maintenance of temperature will be possible. And if the temperature will be maintained, then there will be greater efficiency of enzymes and their metabolic activities. Second, I would like to discuss about this transpiration pull. In the beginning of the chapter, when we were discussing about the transport of soluble materials and water into the plant, I told that whenever this water is being evaporated from the surface of the leaf, lower surface of the leaf, there will be some water deficiency in the adjacent cells, and therefore a suction pressure will be created. Because of this suction pressure, water will be pulled up and therefore reaching to the distal parts of a plant. Therefore, this transpiration also leads to this transpiration pull and is having its major role in the translocation of water and minerals in the plants. And this transpiration pull is directly related with this absorption of water also, as I discussed. Now the next topic is about the minerals. Now we are going to discuss about the minerals. Minerals are present in the earth, which are having their great importance in the growth and metabolism of the plant. They can be categorized as essential and non-essential. Those minerals which are largely required for the growth and development of the plant are called as essential. They are 17 in number. They may be carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus and many other. And some of them are non-essential, which are required, but they are required in very least quantity. They are non-essential type of minerals. Further classification of nutrients on the basis of nutrients given here: macronutrient and micronutrients. Micronutrients are those type of minerals which are largely required by the plants. I made this symbols CHONPS, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur. Then micronutrient, they are least required by the plants, and example of such kind of minerals are zinc, molybdenum, boron. Dear students, it is very important to mention this one, because sometimes 1 mark questions can be asked from this particular point. So it will be more better. I have given symbol only because of that you can remember it very easily. If 3-4 times you are only revising this note, it will be clear. Okay? So if you are knowing about the macronutrients, then it is very easy to differentiate the micro type of nutrients too. Therefore, please pay your attention there also. Now I am going to discuss about the function of the minerals, what functions they are having. Dear students, minerals are having their great function in the growth and development of a plant. Because we are very habitual in understanding the role of carbohydrate, the role of fat, the role of proteins, vitamins and all, and we are never looking for this mineral. Now in this session, I am discussing about the functions of the minerals. Please mention it. I have given again symbol nitrogen. Nitrogen, protein. All the proteins are made up of nitrogen. And nucleic acid. This is a type of protein that is present in the nucleus. They both are having large amount of nitrogen. This nitrogen is very useful for the growth and development of plant. If there will be deficiency of nitrogen in the plant, the growth and development will be very poor. Yellowing of leaf will occur and some other type of effects will be there here. Then I would like to discuss about the sulfur. There are certain amino acids which are made up of sulfur. So, and you know that these amino acids are getting combined with each together forming protein. So this is also an important constituent of protein. Enzymes and vitamins. These enzymes are required for the normal metabolic activities of the plants. Phosphorus is present in nucleic acid. In the nucleic acid. In the nucleic acid, there are 4 bases, no? Adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. They are combined with each together and together with that carbohydrate by phosphodiester bonds. So this phosphorus is required for formation of phosphodiester bonds. It is also required for the normal growth and development of the plant. Stunted growth will occur. Yellowing of leaf will be occur if phosphorus deficiency will be there in the plants. Then I would like to discuss about the zinc. As you know that the enzymes are those materials for their activity. There are certain promoters required. Zinc is a promoter for the enzymatic activities. Sometimes this zinc also facilitate the leaf color. If there will be deficiency, then leaf yellowing, poor growth, stunted growth will occur in the plant. Then this is manganese, that is also important, as is an important constituent of chlorophyll, is required for the chlorophyll synthesis. And simply you can think that if no chlorophyll will be there in a plant, how the plant will photosynthesize and how it will make the food. Then boron. This is also an important constituent of enzyme and it takes part in the translocation and cell metabolism. This boron is also required for the growth of pollen tube in the pollens. If there will be deficiency of this boron, germination of seed will be affected. So dear students, this is all about your first chapter, and in the next session I will meet with you by having your second chapter. Till then, thank you very much for watching the video. Thanks.